everyone.
No
That's
wonder
funny.
Warrior was so OP in PvP.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like people would go in without their Jobstone specifically for PvP because you could have like Raging Strikes, fucking Eternal Release from Monk, Blood for Blood from Dragon, like all of these insane DPS buffs, and they would just annihilate people as a marauder.
Quelling
That's good.
strikes.
Yeah. I remember those days as well. Oh, dark times.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, I remember the days when physical level and job level were two separate things, and you allocated stats manually every time you leveled up, and your character was essentially whichever abilities you wanted to pick and choose from the different jobs that you had learned. This is like 1.0.
Stone skin.
Stone Skin wasn't there. It was
This was when they were
crazy.
still trying to be like a normal evolution of 11, and people hated those systems that they implemented.
It was so bad, but we made it. And through the game, we found each other and have found this wonderful story that I will now segue into as we gather together once again to play Tyranny of Dragons.
Well,
Oh,
all
yes.
except Foxhole, who still hasn't played Final Fantasy XIV.
I'm working on
Yeah.
it.
You
All I
have
have to
to
do
play
is
it.
finish
It's the
the.
critically acclaimed MMORPG. Free to
All I
play.
have to do is finish the last part of the Persona 5 Royal that I still haven't finished, and then I'm gonna start playing. I'm almost there.
You're gonna finish that, and then Persona 3 Reload is gonna come out, and then you're not gonna be able to.
I've got until February for that. It's fine. I've got another month.
Well, picking up here atop the Nether Mountains, actually on the eastern side of the Dalelands. You guys went from deepest depths, miles beneath the surface of the world as you had just passed through Drama Shore, having slain the Elderbrain dragon, utilizing every ability at your disposal, the assistance, what he could provide at least of Magenta, and finally the divine transformation of Ken into Ascalon.
And ping
And the
ponging
price
Nicholas
is
across the field.
ping pong. I so wanted to break his concentration, but I couldn't. You were
Can't
too
touch this.
on point. The price is
Hell yeah.
paid for such power. You guys left Ken immobile, but resurrected with his platinum defibrillators, which have been set up for exactly this situation. Aerith, exhausted and slowed, you guys gathered yourselves together and pushed out of the central brain chamber, having destroyed not only the Elder Brain Dragon, but the Elder Brain itself, finding no way to cure the corruption that was so deeply ingrained within it. And as you looked upon the Elder Brain, you could see the dragon itself first starting as a small single cell, although that cell was the size of an orange, and then propagating until finally becoming a zygotic Elder Brain dragon. And seeing this process repeating itself and a new one being grown before your eyes, you destroyed the brain and any chance of the Elder Brain dragon returning. In doing so, it created some instabilities here in this very large underground cavern, and Magenta urged you guys to push to the edge of Drama Shore beyond the gatehouse to avoid being absorbed into the abyss, the darkness that loomed deep below. You guys hastily made your way across one abyssal bridge, doing everything you can. I can't remember the specifics, but doing everything you can to avoid the dark whispers and enticements from below. You guys pushed forward, pushing Ken in stretcher mode along on Aerith's flying broom, through a residential district strewn with dead bodies as they had all lost their lives as the Elder Brain had died. You guys moved through the residential district quickly, pressing across another abyssal bridge, more whispers before finally getting to another gatehouse, almost identical to the one that you came in on the western side of Drama Shore. It was here that Magenta let you know that he would be heading to the second and fourth mines to seek what aid he could, and to reach out to him if he could be of help to you in the future. That you guys have done a service here, and though he laments the loss of his hive, at least it will not precipitate the end of the world. At least this won't bring
Just
the
that
end
part.
of the world. That part of it. Exhausted and tired and tapped of magic and healing, and honestly a little concerned for the exhaustion that you guys had incurred, you reached out to your clerical friend Arturia, the silver dragon who has been stationed upon the Nether Mountains to help guard with the bronze dragon Eleuthera. She was able to utilize the magic of the mountain to open the gate so that you guys could step through from this watchtower at the edge of the world to another watchtower at another edge of the world. And it was here that Arturia gave Ken a bit of a scold talking to about risking his life, and that this seems to be a habit of his, and to take care of himself. You guys informed the two of them as to what was happening, spinning a tale for Eleuthera so that he could, or they could kind of add your story to their repertoire. And all the while, Mia, drawn to the massive, ornate door, platinum chains. As the stories went on and Ken was healed of his exhaustion, which I do need to say I was wrong last week. I think I had Aerith knock off 2 500 gold diamonds for that, correct?
Yes?
It should
No.
have been 200 gold of diamond dust.
Oh.
Yes. I mixed up my spells in my mind because I had pudding brain. And over the week I have looked it up, and I will correct that. So go ahead and you can add 2 500 gold diamonds back to your inventory and just take out 500 or 200 in diamond dust. That was all the spell slots she had, though, so she can only do it 4 times, getting Ken down to 1 level of exhaustion. As Mia finally reached out to the strange object before her, her hand rested on the door, and nothing happened. Nothing that you guys could see, at least. There was no explosion, no glowing, no flash of light, or passing of energy, or song of angels, but Mia kind of just stood there, transfixed, catatonic, as the word was. You guys attempted to call out to her, but she was unresponsive. Walking over to her owner, Oni set his hand on her shoulder, and Oni set his hand on her shoulder. It's a lot of 3-letter words in that sentence. And tried to shake her out of the stupor. It still didn't quite break her loose before finally pulling her away, breaking the contact that her hand made with the door. She told you of the vision that she had, passing on what she was able to describe, and you guys, intrigued by this sudden memory that seems to have come out of somewhere, nowhere. You're not even sure if it is a memory or what. But enticed by it, you've opted to stay here the night and try in the morning to see what happens. The dragons offered to, for you guys to set up the mansion door wherever you would like, which you had to describe or explain to them that the mansion door was gone, with Rose in wherever Rose was. So they pretty much just said, make yourselves comfortable, and they have been kind of just, let's see, I'm trying to think where we left off. I think we kind of left off in an ephemeral, like, it's late at night. Is there anything anyone else wanted to do before you guys turn in for your long rest?
Could we squeeze some training in since we didn't do it in the morning since we were in the fucking Underdark and it wasn't safe to do so?
Sure. Yes, but Aerith and Ken, obviously, you will have disadvantage on your checks, as you still have a level of exhaustion.
Yep.
If you wanted to do yours. So if you guys want to do some late night trading before you turn in, you definitely can do that.
So wisdom and constitution were the rolls.
Intelligence. Oh,
Hey.
Oni.
All right.
Hey,
You gotta get that.
Ho-ho!
Ooh.
All right.
hey, not too shabby, even with disadvantage, bro.
No. I'm impressing myself.
Wisdom.
All right.
And I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as Mia kind of sits, I'm guessing you're kind of sitting with your back against Pertanther's
Yeah.
throne. Okay.
Yep.
And stares at the platinum chains across the door. You guys take to your individual roles. Aerith and Nicholas, I believe both of yours are. Oh God, what are you guys training?
I'm training for alchemy supplies.
Right. Okay. Yeah. They're not. They're
training
not
for-
interactive. You're training your ability, right? So you're training up your. Essentially, Nicholas is studying, arranging his notes, kind of sharpening his mind. He probably has like an interactive Sudoku puzzle in one of the pages of his book that he could like fill out and then wipe it away and just challenge that part
Daily
of his
Sudoku.
consciousness. Yeah. I'm trying to find
Crossword
my.
puzzle.
Yeah.
Right. The New York Times.
Oh, right. It's
Akron
it's
Times.
narrative beginning of V3.
Times.
So you're going for. So that would be 18. Okay, so Nicholas, you get 2d6. Oni, you have. What was Oni training again?
No.
Mariner.
Mariner. Okay, so you're
It'd be like that.
sparring with Ken.
It do be
You
like that
do.
sometimes.
Seven's that. So you get 5d6. Yeah, 5d6. Ken, unfortunately, that's just 1d6. Aerith is 4d6. Okay.
Hey, you rolled more than Kyle got.
As you guys go into your training,
You rolled more than Aerith got too.
This hurts.
so I know, but sometimes it be that way. As you set down to start working with your alchemy supplies, Aerith, you've been able to cure one level of your exhaustion, but you are still beat. Like, did you get one cured, or do you still have two?
I still have 2.
You still have two. You are just exhausted. And as you start like tinkering with them, your mind is sharp. You're kind of able to focus in, but your body is just not responding. The excessive use of the blade song, met with dealing with the invasiveness of a tadpole. It's all just so much that your hands are just like trembling. And after about 15 minutes of practice, you kind of just have to set it down. And you just put your hands in your head and rub your eyes, and you just sort of have to take the rest of the time and breathe deep. Nicholas, during your mental trainings, your exercise, your mind just keeps drifting. It's been a long time since you faced something as threatening as the Elder Brain Dragon, and your mind, though you have very good control over your intellect and a wide array of facts, worry is still prominent, and the what ifs. What if they hadn't gotten me out of there? What if one of those breaths had hit me? What if? They all mitigate the learning process a little bit, unfortunately. Oni, you've stretched quite a bit today. Your body's limber and nimble, and while you two have faced invasive effects from essentially alien species and come back from death's door today, your mind and body work as one, and you manage to go through your forms without the negative effects of the day's battle hindering you. For Ken, your body is sluggish, but you are filled with a kind of resolution, I would say. Today's battle, and especially using Ascalon and being able to come back from it, proves that progress can be made. Progress into controlling this power, into mastering it, into becoming what you need to be to protect the world. And while your constitution roll was not good, and your body is racked with pain throughout it, the training process instills you with more muscle memory than you were expecting given your level of exhaustion. You then kind of sit down. Where do you do your meditations, Ken?
Maybe like right in front of the fire, like right here-ish, like in between these two blocks right here.
Okay. Can you make me a Constitution saving throw really quick? Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
Nothing bad. Are you sure?
Okay.
No,
That's
no.
that was
Oh
the
my
dice are right there with me. Okay. As you sit down and begin your meditations, the energy around you is immediate. You find yourself distinctly in that kind of torrential space, like standing at the center of a massive tornado. Energy just twisting and whirling around you, but there's an area of about 3 or 4 feet around your body that just is calm and peaceful. This like little bubble. You kind of reach out and you touch the energy, and you can see the points, the kind of two glittering points in this almost like jagged straight line. 2 of them glittering, the other 5 dully just sort of like hovering there. And as you begin to focus in on one of them, it all kind of just fades away, and you find yourself in a deep slumber. Everybody else, you guys see as Ken sits on the ground, cross-legged, kind of stares into the fire for about a minute or two before closing his eyes and breathing deep. And then his breathing gets deeper and more rhythmic. And then there's kind of this boom sound as he falls over and falls asleep.
He's had a day.
It's been a day. What's everybody else doing?
I go up next to him and fall asleep.
Okay. As Aerith sits down next to Ken, you also enter your trance.
I have a question. Could we use the Ring of Puzzler's Wit on our training?
It's more of a skill check, and that lets you do. What was the puzzler's wit?
Ring of Puzzler's Wit. You can use a charge to grant yourself advantage on intelligence checks.
Then yes, you would be able to.
Can I do that retroactively?
Sure.
I mean, also, Aerith, you have it as well.
It's fine. I'll suffer
You did
through
pretty
it.
well.
Hey,
Good
dice
job.
now.
Yep,
The exact same.
Yep.
All right,
it'd be like that.
me too.
Yeah, I think Nicholas needs to go to bed. He's an old man. He needs to sleep.
It's late.
So I just double checked the exhaustion level. It said I just have disadvantage on ability checks, not saving throws.
You're
Yeah,
down
but
to
the
1
first
though,
one
right?
Your first one, your
It was
first
still-
roll
Yeah.
was the net one though, so
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
fair,
yeah.
fair.
I thought of it too, but yeah,
Yeah, that actually this makes more sense. Never mind.
that's like I said, the dice agreed with me because that's kind of where I was looking to.
Yeah.
All right, as you guys
Disregard my
take
last.
Don't worry, don't worry.
It happens to the best of us.
I'm not done with you, Ken. As you guys
Oh no.
sit down and find comfortable places to kind of set up shop and drift away. Mia, you're not sleeping, right? You're just sitting. Okay. That's what I thought. That's what you said.
Mhm.
Okay. The rest of you begin to drift off into a deep, restful slumber. Ken, as you fall out of this kind of platinum vortex and into the depths of sleep, you feel calm, peace, that kind of like deep comfort of well-deserved rest. And then it starts to get kind of staticky, like you're walking through the sound of a waterfall. Your vision starts to get a little hazy around the edges and almost crackles. The best analogy that I could give you guys to be able to visualize it is imagine the effect the echo has when they're doing like the echo recollections, where it's just like crackly and static. You kind of look around, and in your immediate surrounding, you appear to be in like a forest clearing, maybe about like 30 feet across, but it's all kind of immaterial and crackling. And in the center is Rose. Roll me a perception check. Okay. These ones actually, I won't have you do at disadvantage. So that will be a 17. Okay. So as you kind of like step into this space and enter into this dream, you look and you can see Rose sitting on like a stump in the middle of this clearing. They appear to be older. It's hard to tell really, because with changelings, they can make themselves look older. But Rose always kind of maintained this constant default that they would go back to. And they're in that default form now, but they look... Their features are a little bit more defined. There's some like faint bit of creasing around their mouth, and they seem to be muttering to themselves while they're like bandaging a wound around their left arm. Wasn't supposed to go like this. Knew things weren't going to be easy, but pulls the bandage tight and then starts to look around.
Oh, someone at the door. PRB.
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
Slowly approach, hands up. Just try to, I guess, speak to them.
As you step forward, you hear them. I knew that time was going to be an issue, but I didn't realize that the issue was going to be time. They look over at you. Roll me an insight check really quick as they see you approaching. Okay. The look on their face goes from like frustration, concern, like this talking to themselves. They look at you, their eyes almost go wide. There's the faintest hint of a smile before they kind of like look down, finish the bandage up, and like wipe their face clear, and then stand up and kind of like meet your gaze. But doesn't do anything yet. You guys are standing about like 7 feet apart now in this crackling, like staticky forest space.
Rose, before you chew me out again, I just want to say I'm sorry. I realize now that at that I could have handled that meeting a whole lot better. I didn't do a better job in dissuading your fears and your frustrations with those nobles. You've been with me through thick and thin, and your feelings should have taken priority. But I've always dreamed, ever since I was a little kid, having the opportunity to unite the realm against the cult. And with that being so close at hand, I was blinded to what you needed at that time. I know words aren't what you're looking to hear, especially from me, but though that's the honest truth. And I can't apologize enough.
Give me just 1 second to think. As you begin to speak to them, they kind of like their face scrunches up, kind of like shake their head. They walk over to you and they put both hands on either of your shoulders, and they like lean into you and they start moving their mouth. And there's something odd about the way the speech is coming through. It's almost like it's coming through underwater. Why isn't anyone replying to me? Why do you all just ignore me? Why do you just have Aerith call? Please, just have Aerith contact me and we can talk about it, okay? Just why has anyone reached out? They kind of like look at you, their eyes go watery a little bit like wider. Please, please. We can talk, we can work things out, we can make it all better. I can't lose you guys either, okay? So just have Aerith contact me, or, reply to me when I reach out to you guys, if this is even you. Please, please, please. And then the word, do you have anything to reply while they're doing that?
I was just going to try to hug them.
Okay. As you kind of like pull them into this hug, you feel the word, please, 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 please. And then it all goes dark. You wake up, not in a start, but here in the center of the peak of the Nether Mountains, the gentle, rhythmic breathing of your friends around you. You can reach up, you've got tears on your face. Arturia looks down at you. Is everything all right?
Rose tried to reach me through using the dream spell again. They're not as upset. They just, something's going on wherever they are. I don't know. Honestly, I can't begin to describe what's going on, but I'm gonna figure out the way to contact them. They said to try to have Aerith contact them, or I don't know. But I understand that. I'm just glad they're not pissed off at me anymore, or as pissed off at me anymore.
I'm glad to know that they're all right, at least. Though... Alright. Kind of like looks around. Well, if you need anyone to talk to, know that we're here for you. From what I understand, Rose is on another plane, correct? That's what... You guys know that, right? You told them that? I'm trying to remember what you were...
Yeah, evidence concludes that they're in the Feywild. We tried to contact them before, but something interfered with communication and caused a rebound. It hurt Emmeline and it hurt Pretenter when they tried to contact them.
Yes, I
But
do remember that.
maybe something's happened to where we can try to contact them without interference. Whenever Aerith wakes up from that trance, I'll ask him to try to use ascending to reach out to them.
I have sending as well. I could, if you wanted me to, I could try now.
Oh, perfect. Okay. If you don't mind.
That's all right. Let's us see. Closes her eyes and starts to, uh, like you see her eyes start like drifting across her eyelids, and then oh, she like rears back and puts her hands to her head and goes, oh. Well, I see what you mean by some sort of strange, interference. What? Mm. She kind of like leans her hands into her head, and you see, and there's like this tiniest little trickle of blood coming out of her nose.
Damn it.
It should work. I mean, most of the time at least. Sending is one of the only things that crosses the plane of boundaries. It's one of the only ways to... She kind of like... Something isn't right. And I don't know what it means, but we can... Looks over at Eleuthera, and who's just kind of been watching all of this. And we can at least... Look... Pretend there's only been looking into it. Kind of like stops, and she's just sort of like stymied.
This is beyond my capabilities, unfortunately. As you know, I'm more technical than mystical.
Yes. I shall pray to Null and see if he can reveal any answers. Perhaps he will be more open now.
Well, here's hoping. From what I've been told, he is pretty stern, but I guess I hope he understands the plight and helps us out even a little bit.
Kind of gives you like a little bit of smile. He's been helpful in the past, so it's not out of the question to hope. Either way, you need to rest, brother, and regain your strength.
Yeah, you're right. Ken's just gonna just stretch out real quick and then just like sit back down and like put his back against Frathether's throne to doze back off.
All right. Well, that was the only dream I had for tonight, so no one else gets to be called on.
That was the perfect like movie moment where this whole thing could have been at least assuaged a little bit if Ken had been like, "Yeah, we've tried to contact you and something's interfered. We're not ignoring you." But it's so funny that it didn't have the opportunity to tell us.
I really liked what he said though, and yeah, that was good. It definitely got me thinking, like, how do I move forward? But, all right. Well, Mia, you pushed through the night.
Yeah. Yeah, she's tired, but more interested, I guess, in whatever this is.
Then Aerith and Oni. Not Eidos, Oni. I was looking at Eidos' stuff earlier today. But Aerith and Oni, as you guys wrap up your trances, you are both the first to awaken. It's still maybe about 4 in the morning, and high upon the mountain, the dawn will come earlier, I want to say? I don't know. But it's still dark out, like the pre-dawn hours of the morning. As you guys wake up and start getting like your stretches and just that slow kind of, I have the next 4 hours to keep busy. You look over and you can see that Mia is still awake. I guess I should ask, is there anything you guys want to do before everyone else wakes up?
Yeah, Oni's definitely gonna step over here. Just, have you been awake this whole time, Mia?
I think so. I tried to sleep a little bit, and I mean, I am tired, but
Based on what they were telling us, the risk involved with the store, you should probably be well rested for this and not suffering from the day before.
I know, but I just want to touch it again, and they said tomorrow, so I have to wait.
It'll be here, Mia. Don't worry. We're not gonna walk away from this, and it's not gonna get up and move. Thankfully, it is a door. Why don't you get over there? And kind of gesture towards the spot next to Ken, and at least try to get a little bit of sleep.
What if it? What if it doesn't tell me anymore? What if it does? I guess I
It's
don't
not gonna
know.
be. Go ahead.
I don't really know what to do with either outcome then, I guess. Obviously I want to know more, but
Well, unfortunately, this probably isn't what you want to hear, but either outcome, the answer is the same, and it's you just keep on keeping on. Whether you have information to go on or it's the same as before, we just keep putting one foot ahead of the other and moving forward. Somewhere out there, there's going to be answers. Ideally, this door cues you in on some memories that you don't have access to right now, that you don't know, things that might not even directly relate to you, but have some loose thread of attachment. But regardless of which case it is, things are getting dangerous enough that I cannot stress enough, you do need to get a little rest.
I guess so. Um, I could try, I guess.
Who knows, maybe you'll have some elucidating dream that gives you some goal to work towards, you know?
Ken talked about dreams before. I don't know. I don't think I do dreams. Or at least I don't remember them. If I do, is that normal? I guess that's a dumb question, actually.
I mean, there are people who don't dream. There are people who can't not dream. So
Do you dream?
occasionally, I,
About what?
me and Aerith sort of slip into something akin to sleep, but when we trance, we're conscious. Our thoughts are there. So it's less a dream and more of like a think tank.
What do you think about?
About 400 years worth of travel.
I don't I don't know how much that is. Is that like the whole world?
It's a lot of it. I've been around a lot. I've experienced a lot, and I don't want to forget any of it, the good and the bad. So I play a lot of it over in my head.
That's good. I hope you don't forget. Um, I, I mean, I don't know what it's like to remember, but probably a little more fun. Not that this isn't fun.
Yeah, you're already building up a pretty good base of like a foundation for some good memories. So I'm sure whenever the rest come, they'll be great for you. I mean, obviously there will be bad. There is no good without bad. So you have to like be prepared for that. But for what it's worth, you you can't just shy away from it. That's why, even though it seems dangerous touching this door again, based on everything they've said, I do think it's worth doing.
I want to know. All right. She'll like slowly push herself up and wince a little bit as like her joints crack. Okay.
Mia has also had a day.
Yeah, yeah. It's days all around.
I'm sure Ken will be out for a little while longer. You cozy on up to him, get you a little bit of sleep, and we'll wake you guys up in a little while.
All right. She'll kind of peek around the throne and look over at Ken and Aerith. Is Aerith just still sitting there?
That's a good question. What's Aerith doing?
If Aurora is here, I suppose.
He's been abducted by his family again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Aerith is still trancing at the moment. He is kind of just
Right.
sitting cross-legged. He went to sleep about 15 minutes after Oni, so he just needs a little bit more to catch up. So as you look over, Ken is kind of like he's got his legs out, splayed flat in front of him. I mean, gears, I'm assuming, still on. Well, maybe mountain. No, you took the kiddos off. That's right.
I took everything off.
Yeah.
Kiddos are just chilling somewhere.
But he's just sort of leaned back, his head's like cocked a little bit to the right, hands in his lap, and he's just kind of just like there's this gentle rhythmic rise and fall of his whole body. Aerith is cross-legged next to him, between him and Arturia, who's kind of just like the dragons don't really have beds up here, but they don't necessarily need to sleep like mortals do. That's why they only really have the thrones for talking. And because I built this map only to be used maybe once, not as a literal
Not to
city.
sleep
I have it in my cities folder here so often. Safe spaces. But she's kind of sitting in a comfortable position with her feet up on one of the arms and just seems to have like drifted off into a bit of a slumber. Same with Eleuthera.
So she'll just very quietly and carefully sit down and then like put her blanket and stuff on the ground, and then she'll like curl up and put her head on Ken's legs.
Okay. Just lay down on the ground and sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. As your head hits his lap, it is lights out. There's a moment where you're thinking about the things Oni had said, memories. And as you fall asleep, you remember a lot of things. Everything that's happened in the last 3 weeks. Meeting Chad, meeting the Wanderers, Goblinopolis, running away, going into the Underdark, running away, going to Parnas, running away.
We do that a lot.
Old, the adventure, the fighting, the pain, the victory, the rush of your heartbeat after you took the potion. And as you kind of drift into that memory, you curl just a little bit harder into his lap and are out into a beautiful, peaceful dream of a normal life where you guys aren't having to save the world. You can just be normal people. Like maybe the people in Eris' book. Not the one about all the technical things, but the other.
The fun book.
Aurora, are you back?
I'm here.
Okay.
I
You
might have to leave
awaken
again,
from
but
your...
I'm here.
Oh no. Okay. You awaken from your trance. Oni has sent Mia to bed. She's now laid down with her head in Ken's lap. The two of them still asleep. Nicholas, with a light kind of snore.
Snore
On the
answers so perfectly.
Yeah. On the opposite side of Arturia's throne. Is there anything you want to do while you wait for the rest of your party to awaken?
Probably not. I'll probably just watch over everyone like a creep. I'm kidding.
Go weirdo.
Like a weirdo.
Eris puts everyone's hand in a bowl of warm water while they sleep.
I don't have that skill.
haven't
They're
had
lucky.
haven't had a chance to do that yet. Someday.
Then
Sorry.
no, you're good. All right. Well, then if you guys don't have anything else you want to do in your post-trance, then the next 4 hours passes uneventful. Arturia and Eleuthera awaken after about another 2 hours or so. They pretty much trance. They just kind of offset it a little bit. They just need less than normal people. But they awaken and God, trying to think of what their like day-to-day life here would be.
Gossip.
As they awaken, the rest of your party is still asleep. Eleuthera will look at you, Aerith, and be like, I'm gonna go fly a perimeter check. I'll be back in like an hour. And then he jumps off his throne and runs down to the stairs, kind of like leaps off the stairs like a kid jumping down the stairs at school. And as he falls out of view, you see as his massive dragon form emerges and he flies to go and make sure everything is good around the mountain, because that is one thing that they have to do. Arturia stays here with you guys. Nicholas, you awaken before Ken with a deep, deep biological need to pee. And
Your old man bladder's kicking in.
yeah.
Right.
Where's the restroom?
Just go down the stairs, and as long as you're, I don't know, just keep it about 1,000 feet away from the door, just go down the stairs, you'll be fine.
He waddles away.
The things you don't think about when you don't have guests often. Looks over at Ken. Ken, as you awaken, kind of like start to stretch, but you feel a little bit of resistance as you move your legs, and you look down, and you can see Mia is curled up on her blanket and like half wrapped into it with her head on your lap, and she just has a big smile on her face, and there's a tiny little puddle of drool on your lap.
Well, shit. I'll just wait until Mia's up before he moves.
Takes about another 2 hours.
4 hours later.
Yeah, it was offset by a couple hours, but it's you don't need the full 8 hours. You could do a 2-hour
Yeah.
watch, sleep for 6, so you got 2 more hours. Okay. the rest of you, what are you guys doing as you wait for Mia to get up?
We could do our training.
Oni's probably just gonna pick Artorias' brain about this door. He's got his little book in regards to, the religions of the different gods. Just get a little bit more info on the actual door itself, since he's, right here with someone that knows it.
That's a very, very fair point. Let's see. Roll me and oh boy, there's so many different things I could call for. None of them seem completely appropriate. Give me a persuasion. Do you have persuasion proficiency?
Mm-mm.
Okay, but add your proficiency
But
bonus.
I
'Cause
don't.
you're...
Okay, I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So 25.
Natural 19. Okay. It's just because you haven't really like Oni and Arturia don't really know each other, so as you go over and start picking her brain, she kind of like looks at you like, "Who are you to want to know?" But as you kind of describe what your book is and show her all of the notes and everything you've taken over the centuries and the accumulation of knowledge, it's impressive to her, and she helps you fill in a few of the gaps. Um,
He'll
did you?
also he'll also pick her brain on Noel, because she did mention Noel last night. So he's very open to any and all gods and like the impact they have. So
That's a good one, because that's one that you haven't really had a chance to run into. The dragon gods, Bahamut protects all, but Null has a very specific purview, and his priests and priestesses are not very common throughout the world. So you've probably only recorded what you could find in books, and she can definitely offer much more in that vein. Did you want anything specific, like,
no,
or is
just
it just
just some like generalized information that he can keep, adding to it. Because his ultimate goal is just a better understanding of the world at large, and a huge part of that is the different faiths and the gods that dictate what goes on. So
And I would say the most impressive thing, or the most important thing that he would take away from this, would be the existence of the gate being a physical connection to the heavens. That other places like this might exist serves as a like, that doors to the Feywild kind of pop up all over, but a door to Mount Celestia is, this isn't something that's come up in the books. This is something that only the dragons know of. And it could be that Acheron has a similar door somewhere, or Mechanus, or the other planes. And then you think of the shadows, and how close you must have been to the abyss. And that these doors exist all over. It's finding them, protecting them, and using them. That's the important part.
it's really giving Oni some stuff to think about, man.
That's as they talk for a couple hours. Did the three of you have anything while you guys wait for Mia to wake up?
I'm gonna have one of the kiddos transform back into a gauntlet.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just tinker with it and incorporate some modifications and add a new spell to my repertoire.
Got it. Got it. All right. So as Ken quietly and deftly tinkers away to augment his gauntlet, Oni and Arturia discuss the gods. Aerith, what you got?
That's a good question. I'll probably just pull out a deck of cards and play with it.
As you set out your solitaire deck and begin playing your game, Nicholas, what you got?
Can we do our training in the morning?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, might as well. While everyone else
Okay.
is doing other
Yeah,
things.
because yours you do by yourself. like Ken and Oni kind of need each other to train their respective fighting styles.
And we might be a little loud, so don't want to wake up Mia, who
Snoozing away.
Just
That's all
finishing
right
out her little.
Okay. Yep. Then I will do my training intelligence, and I'm going to use a charge of the Ring of Puzzles with.
That's good.
And don't forget, guys,
Hey, yeah.
your stuff that has charges. Then that one, because it was that was 3. So that is now 46, because you were 1 off from the DC on the last one. Or what did I do? God,
I rolled 2d6 last time.
then it's
Do I?
3d6. 3d6. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll take a 6, 5, and a 6.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
nothing wrong there. All right. And don't forget, guys, all of your stuff that expends charges, you do need to roll to get those charges back. Because I
Yep, that's
know,
what the D4 was
yeah,
for.
I know that's what your D4, but like, I'm pretty sure that the artifacts of Bahamut have charges as well. There's a
Yeah, I
few
haven't
things
used
out there.
I haven't used my longsword in a while.
Just to keep track
Yeah.
of.
Freedom
Yeah.
doesn't have any charges because it's purely just
Mhm.
the.
7.
Ooh.
See you.
17.
I'm 1 point
Alright.
short.
Ken, as you start to hear Mia rustling awake, she kind of like, it's like that, it's like a child who wakes up but doesn't want other people to know that they're awake. And so they kind of just like curl back in a little bit and start breathing in that rhythmic pattern to try to pretend to still be asleep just to get 5 more minutes. But as Mia starts to wake up, you hear a voice in your mind, the voice of Emily. Morning, Ken. Just wanted to let you know that, oh god, what did we call them? The Starlight Explorers returned this morning, safe and sound, with your airship. Hope you're well.
I'm not saying this out loud, but one, two, here. Back there. That's
I would have thought that would have been good news, that the ship made it back and that your friends didn't die. But you sounded
Right?
perturbed, and so
A
now I'm
little
curious.
upset. The that preceded everything.
Right? Right?
Right.
I was like, oh, I'll give him some good news in the morning. The ship's back, but I'll hit him with the whole like 1-2 of him not knowing if it's good or bad. But,
I gotta count my words. No, it's not bad. I'm just fantastic. Glad to hear that.
When it comes to counting the words.
yeah, I kind of had it counted out for Emmeline. I think I might have ad-libbed 1 or 2 things at the last minute. Okay. You don't get a reply because she tries to conserve her magic, but okay, it goes through.
Oh, perfect.
Damn, dude. The game just out there going like, they get their charges back, Cade. They get
All
them
of
back.
them.
All right. Well, as you rustle to awakenness, Mia, you kind of like curl back into the lap and realize that you're just not going to be able to get back to sleep. But you feel much better, and you're very appreciative in this moment to Oni for sending you to bed. Everybody is awake. You all can hit the long rest button and get those hit point bars back up because they're still making me panic a little bit.
What? You're worried that I'm walking around with only 45?
Yeah.
When it was 2 before they started healing for us?
It's always the sign of a good boss fight when you guys leave the battle with less hit points altogether than like Ken has alone at full.
Yeah.
And most of those were on
I know
Nicholas.
it's gonna get hit. Yeah, I was gonna say it once.
Right.
I was trying.
Aerith said no.
There is no.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
a
Mia
fragile old
tries to get a
man.
little bit tries to get a little bit longer, and then remembers just like, oh yeah, Oni sent me to bed so that I could get sleep, so I could touch the door, and then she like sits straight up.
You know, Christmas.
Good morning, Mia.
Good morning. Hi, Ken.
Hello. Sleep okay?
I think so.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get up and stretch my legs. He'll look over to Oni and I guess signal if he's ready to get our training started for the morning.
He'll kind of, after several hours with Artoria, kind of nod, like he's got a good bit of info to work with and a new pilgrimage to plan out now that he's aware that there's other doors like this that he should probably look into and tuck his stuff away and get ready to train.
As you kind of step away for the training, Arturia will shake your hand. And it has been lovely speaking with you. And if you do find your way out here again, you are welcome on the mountain. You have at least my invitation. So come back and see me. All right?
He'll politely nod, give her like that martial bow, and thank her for sharing the information that she did with him. He he is definitely aware that the prior claw insignia might have sent a bad impression to them, but he is glad that they're seeing past it at least.
You've done well to turn their first impression around. All right. As you head to go train with Ken, you guys look up and see as the large bronze dragon form of Eleuthera kind of and lands with a heavy thud down here at the bottom of the screen. And just for those of you who haven't been here before, I'll go ahead and just throw him there so you can see just how big these dragons are. He slams down onto the platform and kind of like shakes his whole body and stretches his wings out. He then brings his wings in and his whole form just kind of collapses down into the small agender kind of humanoid elven form that you have come to know as Eleuthera. Kind of like looks out at everybody. Good. Everyone's awake. Mountain's clear. Okay. All right. Nothing's gone wrong. That's good and good. Okay.
So you're actually a dragon?
Kind of like looks at you, looks at Ken. Yes. Yes. This is a convenient form that we like to take. At least here, it's easier to protect the door when you're not the size of the door, and it also gotta make them think you're not that strong, right? Right?
I
And it
mean,
gives you like a sly smile.
you look
Right
pretty strong
before,
even as a person.
right before Ken gets started, he'll walk up and try to give a good morning high five to Eleuthera.
High five. Okay, well, glad to see you're feeling better. Glad to see everybody looks like you have rested. Okay, I'm gonna just... He hops into his throne. And as you guys start to do your training, they're gonna go about their days. So the rest of you can do your training. Mia, what do you do while the two of them walk off to go train?
She kind of, I guess for the first like minute or two, she'll just kind of like pace back and forth and like looking at the door, and then when they're still busy, she like looks over at them every couple minutes, and then she'll just like, I guess she'll just go over here and clamber up into this chair and sit impatiently, like swinging her feet.
As you start to, Luther goes, you know what? Not my problem. Sit down in their chair.
So if you're small, why do you still need such big chairs?
Because they're awesome.
Do you sit on them when you're a dragon?
No, it would that wouldn't feel good. Or maybe it would. Not my thing, but I'm not gonna judge.
Maybe it would.
Nicholas, what are you up
Mhm.
to? As you finished your
Uh,
training and
is all the dragons here younger than me? 'Cause if they were older than me, I would ask questions about before, but
The before times.
the
yes.
before time,
Arturia's
before the
only,
plague.
Arturia's only I think around like 800. She's getting close to ancient, but she's still very much adult. Eleuthera is like 1100 years old. So you're older than both of
Ah.
them.
Gotcha.
By almost Oni's entire lifespan.
Call
Oh, lovely.
make sure you call them both whippersnappers at some point.
That's just, that'd be funny, and totally would not get me in trouble with the dragons.
No,
Uh,
of course not.
Actually, would I have met any of the dragons here before? Not like currently here, like any of the 5 main dragons.
You've definitely heard about Protanther.
It's like, did I end up in his cave one time looking for magic and have to talk to him? Like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you know him by reputation alone because he's like one of the few noble beacons, like creatures that can be hailed on when they arrive. He hasn't acted in the world in a long time, but stories from about 700 years ago of him in his prime, kind of almost serving that protector role up and down the coast. You also know of Tasmakella by reputation. But again, you haven't met them in person. At least you're looking at Arturia now, and as you look at Eleuthera having just changed from seemingly normal human into a dragon and then back, without seeing Protanther and Tasmakella's human forms, for lack of a better word, you're not even sure if you've met them. You might have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I might as well talk to them, ask them about, like the different hierarchy of dragons and all the little things that maybe I haven't seen before.
Roll me a persuasion check. I just gotta see.
Persuade the
Oh, no. Not persuasion. At least
Yeah,
it's
I feel
at
your pain.
least it's not con or dex or strength.
As you pull
Oh,
yourself
yeah.
up into the chair, I need a
Oh,
strength
that
check.
should
And
be
then...
at normal.
Alright.
Ah, well,
Too bad.
So as you begin to tell them of your
Well, it might be
seniority,
higher because that was perception, not persuasion. It could be higher than a 4.
it's this. It would be the same.
Ah.
No, it'd actually be lower. It'd be lower.
Oh,
It'd
no.
actually be like-
It'd be a 3.
Stop it.
Oh no.
they will share with you grand stories of let's see. So essentially the persuasion check was convincing him that you're as old as you are.
I could just show him my book and be like, read.
You kind
Just show him your ID.
as you start telling Eleuthera, he's like, okay. You can see there's this look of, I don't quite believe this old gnome, but he's definitely strong and might be a little crazy. So what's the harm in talking to him? So they will, they'll answer your questions on. I'm sorry, what were the?
So difference in like the hierarchy of the dragons, because I've been around them too much, and then also like any odd magical occurrences they've ever heard of, or like unique spells, or some like oddities in the world.
Yeah, as far as the hierarchy goes, it's mostly like he kind of like looks around and motions like we try to keep an even playing field. That's why our thrones here are kind of arranged in a circle. Each clan, each species of dragon, for lack of a better word, brass, bronze, silver, kind of points over to Arturia, copper and gold, each have an elected ancient elder who sits on these thrones, protects the mountain. I guess you'd call us the leaders of our respective clans. I really don't like that idea. I don't, but, it is what it is. As far as the hierarchy within, it's mostly familial. Um, Clutches tend to stick together right up until the dragons are ready to make their own nests. There are many of us, and so we try to spread out to not impeach on each other's territory, help those who we can, and try to keep the influence of the chromatics to a minimum. I think that the door is probably the most interesting magic thing that we have, but that's divine in nature and not necessarily arcane. I'm not too knowledgeable on the arcane side of things. I know a few little tricks here and there, and I'm good to help people out when they need doing stuff, but you probably would need to talk with Ari in order to get some more like wizardy secrets. She was
Very well. Where can I talk to Otiari?
well, I mean, it depends. And he looks over at Ken and Oni who are training. It's like we were gonna. I know that Pratanther, Otaari, and Namur are all together trying to get what information they can out of the Dales. We can't go in there and getting around it and trying to staying in the blasted lands. We've run into a lot of pushback from the Thayan, and so it's hard to know when they can get back. I know, he looks again over at Ken, I know Pratanther's really worried about Tazmikella and wants to talk to Ken in person, but from where they are, we're still looking at 2 days flight to get back here. So if you guys want to hang out here for a couple days, I'm sure Arturia could put the call out and, we could get them to come back if they're in a good enough position to retreat temporarily, but kind of like looks at you and has a very concerned look on his face. I don't really know what the situation is over there, so.
Can't you just bring them here like you brought us here?
Looks. I guess we could. I mean, it would be drawing on the door again. We should be able to do that. Kind of just like bites his lip, is like, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Oh boy, he's gonna be okay. You won't want to be in that chair though.
Oh, wait, can we do the whole thing with the door first before you call him then, if they'll get mad at me?
Probably better that way. But yeah, I hadn't even thought. Why didn't I think of the gate?
She just hops down out of the chair and runs over to the door.
Oh.
All right, Ken and Oni, go ahead and roll me your training. As this conversation between Nicholas and Eleuthera, okay. So that is 1d6 for Oni, and 3d6 for Ken. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Got it. No Kirk. Shows the fighting styles. Actually, sorry, that should have been 2d6 for Oni. I was looking at the wrong thing at my table. That just hit the DC.
Roll another one.
Roll another one.
Oh.
So as Nicholas and Namur talk, and you finally see Mia head over, you guys finish up your training with one final sequence of, because you've gotten it down to it's mostly like a sequence of attacks and like withdrawals that test both sides of um, your forms, essentially. And as you finish this up, you look over and you see as Mia hops down off the throne and turns around and runs over to the door and stops just short of it. And Luther kind of like sits forward, and Arturia leans over and is looking.
Are we doing this now?
It
Well,
would appear so.
so maybe they can bring the other dragons here through the gate like we did, and then they would be here right now, and so if they're going to be here now, and then I could do this first because they might get mad.
Yeah. Yeah, Kid immediately thinks of Otari Leocarnos, and he's like, yeah, they'll probably get mad. He'll look to his left and right at Eleuthera and Arturia, and it's like, give him that look. You know the look.
Arturia nods, goes, I didn't do anything last night, so we can at least hope that it is a non-explosive experience today as well.
Okay, I'll leave it at y'all's judgment. Just Mia, please be careful. We don't know what this could really entail or how deep it can go. So just
I will try. I don't know how careful I can be with touching the door.
okay. Idea.
Idea?
You sound like my nephew. I have an idea.
Maybe I don't know if it really matters, but maybe having me up there like as a anchor. I don't really know how to describe it. Just like I guess like I don't know how to describe it. It's like having Ken up there like with her, I guess to keep her grounded with whatever she's attempting to do would maybe help.
If you want to touch the door, you can touch the door. Yeah. Nobody's gonna stop you. We believe in you.
You can't hurt.
I mean, it's worth a shot, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it was just like hand on her shoulder, and just like now, deep breaths. It's gonna be fine. I'm right here with you.
Okay. Now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. She just puts both hands on the door.
As you excitedly place both hands on the door is cold. Feels like a stone door. And for a moment, you're like frustrated, disappointed, kind of like push against it, and it doesn't budge. You take your hands off and slam them in one more time out of frustration, and as they hit, the rest of you see is there's this rainbow-like pulse, like a single band of energy out across the peak out of the door. And Mia, your vision fades. And because everyone is so invested, I don't want to do this behind the scenes.
Yes.
I will just do this live.
It's easier as well for me.
As your vision fades out and the rest of you see her go catatonic, you find yourself in a wide open space, but it's dark, pitch black. You can see, but there is just nothing really to be seen around you. It's just darkness, and you know that this darkness is yours. You know that you created this kind of like pocket of space that you're in, and as you look down at your hands, you recognize them as your own, but they don't quite look like yours. They're covered in these very faint, like twisting lines, almost like a henna art. And you see as your hand reaches out and raises, and out beneath you, a giant spike. And then another, dozens more. Reach out and you keep pulling stone out of darkness, and then you swipe your hand down through the darkness, and you feel yourself tear not through earth, but the world. And the darkness starts to roil. And then you kind of like, there's this shuddering flash, this like jump in memory, and you stand tall before tiny, itty bitty little creatures. These tiny little, like, they only look like they're about a quarter of an inch tall. And you speak to them in a language that sounds like you're talking backwards. It's yat 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 yat, and they like bow down before you, and you hold your hand out, and then the vision fades, and you are back on the mountain. You kind of blink your eyes, and you see the door before you, and it. You and Ken both roll me a perception check.
Perception.
You don't notice it, Mia, but as you take your hands away and kind of like look at them, and you're like making that connection between what you just saw and your own hands before your face now. Ken, you look from Mia, who seems okay, and you look to the door, and there's this tiny little impact, like a rock hit a windshield, but it's shimmering with rainbow light. Like all the colors of the rainbow just pulsing around, and it was right where her right hand hit the door.
Oh,
Mia broke the door.
That's
She-
definitely that's not ideal. If we thought they were gonna be mad when they found out somebody touched the door before.
See, but it just looks like an impact, and then like a spider web that just kind of comes out like in 7 different directions, and each one
oh,
kind of pulsing with a
Mm.
different color of light.
She didn't notice, so she just looks down at her hands, kind of frustrated, just like, that didn't really answer anything.
BRB.
This is about
yeah.
20 inches across.
Visions tend to, unfortunately, do that.
But I thought if I did it again, and maybe it would tell me something about the last one in regards to me, though.
Hmm. I mean, visions can only do so much. After that, it's just a lot of meditating and I guess figuring out ways to put the puzzle pieces together as we go through things day by day. Uh, I know whenever I started meditating on how to control my abilities, uh, it took a while. It took a while to adjust. And then I didn't accidentally, I kind of pushed myself too far too early. And that's a story for another time. Anyway, just don't be, just, it's going to be fine. We're going to figure this out together. Um, just keep your head up. We'll help you figure this out. Okay.
Right. She'll just look back down at her hands again and like close them and open them and like turn them around, and there isn't anything on her hands like there was in the vision.
And speaking of controlling abilities, is gonna attempt to meditate real quick before we continue on because I forgot to do that earlier.
So as you look down at your hands, Ken heads to go and attempt to further his training. What do you do?
Wisdom check.
Did Arturia or Luke, did either of them react at all to that? Like, what are they? How are they looking right now?
Let's see. Let me see. I'm gonna roll for her. Where's Arturia's
Right? I'm
perception?
sure with Oni's
Eleuthera-
crazy perception, he could
Yeah.
see it, but
Would you believe that Arturia doesn't actually have perception proficiency? She's got a high wisdom because she's a cleric, but from their angle, she can't see it. It's like it's because Mia hit the door right here, and so she's kind of looking at it, and it's blocked just by the door, and she's kind of like she's watched, and as Ken has walked away, she looks at Ken and goes, "How did it go? I mean, it didn't sound like it answered much."
Yeah, like I was just telling her, visions don't really give us the answers that we want when we want. So I think it's just going to take a little bit more time. Obviously, we probably won't be able to do that again before Pretender and Co gets here, but maybe we can find the answer somewhere else.
She looks at Mia and goes, "I mean, if it's not harming anything." Kind of let me see if she can roll better than a 4 on the die.
if
Kind of
it's
like
not
looks past
harming
you again and
anything.
like narrows her eyes and goes, What is that?" She jumps down. She's gonna head over there because she did roll high enough now. What are you doing, Oni?
Because Ollie's trying to figure out the best way to go about this because we don't need to bring the head honchos back to a crack in the door. I feel like
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
this might be something we need to address before we get the big names into the play, or they might put us in timeout.
As Arturia gets to the door and you guys are doing the napkin math in your head, so Odie is, and Mia's trying to understand the vision. She kind of goes, "Eleuthera, we might have a little bit of a problem. You've been around the door a lot more than me. Is it supposed to do this?" And he kind of like, they jump off. "Oh, what is it doing? What is it doing? Look, get up here. Oh, what is the die roll?" It narrows their eyes. It kind of like looks at it. No, it's never done that before.
It'll
Look.
buff.
Do you
I'll buff out.
do you think we could attempt to catch it?
What? This?
We have 3 artifacts of Bahamut with crazy energy of their own. Maybe we could band-aid it temporarily until we can find something to actually fix it.
You found another one? Looks over at Ken, and you didn't tell us?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I
A lot happened.
yeah,
Yes.
circumstances, circumstances kind of prevented us from relaxing and being able to explain things in a more relaxed manner. But yeah, Sir Oni here has Dad's one of Dad's artifacts, Freedom, if I'm remembering the name correctly.
It's a good idea. We could try. Huh. Kind of like looks over at Mia. Mia, what have you been doing?
She was looking at her hands trying to figure that out, but then she like looked up when they started talking about the door and like trying to fix it, and she just looks confused because she didn't see it. Like, fix what?
Why don't we just take a little bit of a step back? It just right here. Do you see that? That looks like Null,
What is
or not Null, Eleuthera. I don't know, why is it Null? Eleuthera looks past you guys. That looks like arcane energy, and that, I mean, why would that be in the door to Celestia? This is. I mean, it's basically not. It is a door, but it's not really a door. You know that it's kind of like metaphysical, right? It's both here and there, so it.
I don't know what that means, but it's pretty, and she'll just like reach one hand out again to
Oh
touch
no
it.
no! This is maybe not. Mercuria, puts one hand out.
Maybe not.
This is. I mean, she looks at it. Goes, it's not spreading, and it seems to be stable. We could.
Put some putty in it, just cover it up.
Yes.
And
Put
some drywall.
Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, put some drywall on it. Fresh new
That's-
coat of paint.
Wait, hold on. I still have some Band-Aids from the hospital, and she'll pull one out.
Looks down at those. What is, it's fine. No, I think that the best idea that you all had was Oni's here, the artifacts. Aerith, would you mind? Okay. Walks over. It's like, okay. I don't know how this could work. This is raw, divine energy that you're going to have to try to direct, all three of you, as the bearers of these objects. You could try to heal it, or we could just try to, I don't know, like you said, put a patch around it. But it's going to be intent that directs result.
Ken's gonna quickly think back to when he like attempted to focus his divine energy to heat up the furnace to help Aerith make his gunblade essentially, and maybe he can try to recreate that while synchronizing with Justice.
Okay. All right. And what is the intended purpose of your? What are you trying? Are you trying to fix it or contain it?
Trying to fix it. Ken's gonna try to fix it
Then I'm going
because he's not trying to hear. He's already got chewed out by Arturia. His mother chewing him out. Her mother chewing him out would probably be 100 times worse, and he's not trying to deal with that. 100 times worse and 100 times more scary.
Listen here, young man.
I'm sure we can Komodo Ari.
Yeah. I need charisma checks from Ken and Oni, and then I sent Eric the message to see if he can get one, because this is charisma based. It's pure intent and focused will to.
Flash of genius.
Okay.
I
As
can
you-
certainly try.
Yeah, I know. Oh, okay.
13.
That's hey, with some plus ones,
18,
and you got the flash
13.
of genius on that. That you can do. Let me see.
I can roll for Aerith if you want me to, but
Yeah, I'll give
I
him.
guess. No, there he
Oni's
is.
got
there he goes.
freedom, just channeling Key through it, trying his best to get that energy where it needs to be. Help kid.
Okay. Okay. I love the idea of all three of you hitting 13s because that's what happened with the Flash of Genius. So, as you kind of like step forward and each of you take your artifacts in hand, can you summon forth justice from the ether that it lives in? Oni, you kind of like reach down and take the ornament in your hand. Aerith, whose is a bracelet, I believe, kind of like raises his arm to his chest. You all kind of close your eyes and begin to focus on fixing this and the channeling of energy. What it does fix the crack. As you pass the energy into the crack, it flows out of your individual objects and kind of like coalesces into this braid. And as you see the braid forming in front of you, you can see places in the design where two more would weave in with it. And as you kind of like coalesce this energy together, you release it slowly and it drifts out and like almost like a ball of smoke across a room before into the crack. The light stops, the color stops, and it goes from this prismatic 7 colors all shifting into a solid platinum light. The crack is still there, technically, but now it more looks like a platinum engraving in the door, like you've scooped out the damaged bits and filled it with energy. All of Justice's charges are expended. All of Truth's charges are expended, and Freedom is dormant for the rest of the day. But they will come back tomorrow, and you fix the door.
So we can touch the door again.
Yeah.
We're
That's what I'm getting
gonna.
out of it.
But as
Just
you
touch it, fix it, touch it, fix it.
as you release the energy, Ken, you look down at the sword, and this normal like glowing hue that you can see when you look at it, it's so much dimmer than you've ever seen it, and you realize that what you did took what power the sword had at the moment, and it will need time to heal and recharge.
Oh. That was a lot more than I planned. But hey, door fixed.
Just
Let's just hope Pretender and Co. doesn't stare at it too hard.
I'm sure they
Oh,
won't notice.
sure. I mean, at least we fixed it, so they can only get so mad. Right. I guess I should probably call him and... Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, everyone scatters. Get away from the door. Okay, Kitten's just gonna just go over here.
All right, I need to, let's see. So...
Imagine if we hit all nat 1 and the door just absorbs the artifacts.
Yeah,
Like, this is mine now.
It's like, oh, thank you, I needed those.
Okay. So as Arturia closes her eyes, a moment passes. She kind of opens them and goes, all right, well, they are quite busy at the moment, but Pratantha has agreed to take the gate home and return to them as quickly as possible. He does need to speak with you desperately regarding what you plan to do or what we can do to either assist or bring Tasmakella back. She kind of looks over to Eleuthera. Are you ready? One more time? Kind of like looks and goes, oh, yeah, okay. All right. And she hops down and steps over, and she goes to the other side of the door. Nobody's dying. Are you there, Aerith?
I'm here.
Okay, nobody's dying, but
Welcome
all of
back.
truth, all the charges on truth have been expended.
God.
I mean, we
Just set them
might
all
die if
back.
the other dragons figure out what happened.
That's true. That's true.
Then we might get killed, but it's fine.
But it's
We
fine now.
fixed it. It's all fine.
Yeah.
What are we
What's
doing?
the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen?
The two dragons kind of stand on opposite sides of the door from each other, and they nod to each other. And as they both begin chanting this like low, rhythmic spell work in ancient, old Draconic, they place their hands, opposite hands, on the door, still like looking towards each other. This like locked eye. They begin to rhythmically chant, and the door starts to alight with this platinum light that kind of splits down the middle and flows into each of them. And then as it hits their hands, they both like push their hands out towards each other. The light flows from each hand into the center and twists before arcing up, and then, just because the door is already over here, down, and then manifesting into a 15-foot tall and 10-foot wide gate. Just this ephemeral portal erects itself, and moments later, the tall and regal elven form of Pretanther steps through. Ken, it is good to see you again.
Hey, brother. How you
I
been?
wave.
Oh, goodness, hold on. Sorry, I didn't realize
Yeah.
you were moving. I have been busy. How about yourself?
Busy with an asterisk? We got a lot to talk about, brother. A lot.
Then, shall we? And he kind of like motions over, and he looks over and goes, looks, sees Aerith and nods.
I wave.
Who are your new friends, Ken?
Hi. Right. This here is Sir Nicholas. Fun fact, he was the previous champion of the God of Magic. He came out to help us out because yeah, that's part of the story. I gotta tell you. Ken's gonna look over, see Mia, his eyes gonna widen, and he's gonna immediately like signal her to just come here, and by extension, get off his seat.
Get off the chair. Get off the chair.
He looks at you and then looks over to her, and there's this like slow head turn that his hair like it's these like golden locks that flow straight down his back, down to about like mid shoulder, and they barely move as he turns his head and looks at Mia, and then looks back at you.
As soon as he motions her over, she kind of like perks up. She had like her head in her hands on like her hands on her chin, on her knees, and swinging her feet. And she'll just like perk up and then hop down and walk over to him.
And kind of like looks past at your other ally.
This is Mia. She is a very powerful sorceress.
Unknown backstory.
Correct. We've come to realize that she came into being a couple weeks ago. We also have evidence that may point to her also having divine backgrounds related to the God of Magic. Again, it's a long story, and I'm more than welcome, or more than open to debrief you on what's been going on since we last spoke.
Very good. Kind of like looks past, and your fifth ally.
This here is Oni. He is a traveling monk. We met at the meeting at Starfall. This is a wise man beyond his years. He has one of Dad's artifacts. He was chosen by one, so he kind of already had points with me, and he wanted to join us on our journey to stop the cult.
Looks at you, looks at Nicholas, looks at Oni, looks back at Nicholas. Flamel? Looks over at Oni. Rue.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were questions.
And I'm just Mia.
He nods. Your allies are well known in some circles. It is true that a Nicholas Flamel once served as champion of Mistra, but that was the last champion. None have really heard of any since. They believed them all dead. I guess not dead. And I've heard of you, Master Rue. Your exploits within the Dale Lands have reached even my ears. And while you have been chosen by an artifact of my father, your history does not go without my observation. I will keep my eyes on you. And he looks back at Ken. Though you do not pick your friends poorly. They are both known for kind of like sighs and tries to think of the right word. I wouldn't say altruistic ends, but I do not know them to be evil. Or looks over at Mia. Yes, unknown, strange one.
I was gonna ask, what about me? Do you know me?
No, I've never heard of you. Kind of like steps forward and looms down over you because he's about as tall as Ken is.
Hi.
Kind of like, though they are not wrong, you are certainly touched by the divine. Tell me this story, Ken, and then we must speak as well on Tasmakella and how we can aid her. We need all the help we can get at the moment.
You got it. Ken will, I guess, gesture to him to take a chair, and
Now that his
he'll
chair's
just,
open.
yeah, I guess he'll just hang out right here in front of the fire and debrief him, starting from the meeting until now.
As you start to like, do you sit on the ground or are you just like pacing?
Pacing.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, while Ken debriefs Protanther, is anybody else doing anything?
Can do a quick training with my alchemy supplies.
Okay, you missed it earlier, so go for it. That's exactly what he's doing. Luther's kind of like, Aw.
Oh wait, I
It's
still
one
have
D6.
disadvantage on ability checks. Oh god damn it.
Oh,
Oh no!
You turned an 8 into a burned a 20.
yikes.
Oh,
Heartbreaking.
completely heart-wrenching. All right.
Just gonna depressingly roll my d6.
Okay. Anybody else got anything they wanted to?
No, I think we'll let Ken handle the talking to the serious dragon boy for us.
As
Mia
you-
kind of just wanders around.
What do you tell him about the door? Do you tell him anything about what you doing with the door? Because you spotted it as soon as like Protanther was starting to move over. Eleuthera walked over to Arturia and there was a hush like, come on, get in your chair, get in your chair, get in your chair. I got this. And kind of like stood and is like standing there just nonchalantly half leaning, not even touching the door, but just like
Our boy's trying not to be suspicious, is what you
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh no!
he tried.
Does Protector look like he is noticed at all?
Roll me an insight check. He as soon as he looked over there, he could see that Luther was acting funny, and he doesn't. You'd assume he can't see anything yet, but he knows that something's going on.
Okay, but before Ken started the briefing, while he was making his way to the throne, Oni will definitely, like, not on the shoulder, like, small of the back so it's not noticed, tap Ken and be like, your brother may have known. he may have knowledge that something is wrong. Be aware.
So do I want to attempt to lie? He already knows and get chewed out for it, or do I tell him the truth
And still get chewed out for it.
and probably still get chewed out for it?
You could pretend like, oh, when did that get there? I've never seen that.
Weird.
Nah, Ken's a lot of things, but I don't really see him being a really good liar. And he feel really he'll I think he would feel bad lying to his brother after all this. So
Oh, you're so honest.
It's gonna get us killed. Hooray!
Yeah.
Oni wasn't invested either way, but he felt like Kid would be the one to make the decision, so he's gonna leave it all up to Kid. You do what you feel you need to do.
oh god damn it! All right, leaving it to fate. 1 to 11, tell the truth. 11 to 20, just a little white lie, just a little one, just a little one.
I have a mission.
Just a little bit.
Oh,
Kid's conscience is kicking in hard. The only way it would. Now, one, he would have had to tell him on the spot.
Kendall slightly lower his head and lead with, I apologize in advance. You can put the blame all on me. But when we returned from the Underdark, something had drawn my compatriot here to the door. And she started having visions of being someone she had no recollection of being before. It was late at night, so we wanted to, I guess, try to rest and try again earlier today, and things led to other things, and she was able to leave a very tiny crack on the door, which we quickly repaired with Dad's artifacts.
Takes
We fixed it, so you can't be mad.
God
a
damn
deep
it.
breath. And he kind of like tilts his head just ever so slightly and goes, Luthra, would you mind coming around and joining the conversation? yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Sure. I knew something was up. Kind of like
I'm sorry,
he raises one hand and turns and
I like
puts
how
out one hand.
I like how there's the crack on.
Yeah, thank Mia for that one. Holds out his hand and kind of like doesn't touch it, but he just puts it right above it. Nods. What did it look like before you fixed it?
It's like a looks like a small spiderweb-esque crack with rainbow light surrounding it.
It smelled a lot like arcane, and it just it was strange. You know, Luthra has a bit of like panic in his voice as he's answering. Pratanther calmly turns around, and then like everyone else kind of has to hop up. Pratanther almost like he steps and turns, and he just gets in his chair. There is no like exertion of energy or anything that might be seen as undignified. He's just dignified. He kind of like sits down and puts his hand to his face. At least it is intact now. But it does pose the question. This door is the path, one of many, into the afterlives. The conduits through which the souls of this world pass. They're all connected through the between, which I know you, and he looks at Ken, and Aerith are intimately familiar with. This door was crafted organically as a conduit between Celestia and here. The only thing that could change that would be to redirect that connection to a different afterlife. Or outer plane, I suppose, would be the more modern term.
I
Kind of like
look over it to Mia, towards Mia, and then look back.
He looks over at Mia.
She's just standing like at the side of Luther's throne at this point, just kind of like looking at the chair.
At
Trying to
Eleuthera's.
seem innocent.
Yeah, kind of like poking at the arm and just trying to be quiet.
Let me see. What would he...
Oh yeah, sure. Now try and be quiet.
Trying to think of what else he could ask to help. Or not help.
Or not help.
He will, like, lean forward and nod. Other way, it is perhaps best if we don't pursue this line further to mess with powers beyond even my understanding. That is risky. Nicholas, I actually did have something I wanted you to roll. Can you roll me a history check?
Okie dokie.
Since you're so old.
Because you're so old.
Excuse me.
Your history is the history. Okay.
God damn.
As
Now you
Pretanther
can't
had
argue.
through the gate, you had seen him before. Let's see. So, in your earliest days, Faerun was not as it is now. The cities of the Sword Coast have fallen and risen and fallen and risen, but some have existed for a long time and have passed between multiple different leaderships. You've seen this man as the council leader of Waterdeep in the past.
Huh.
He was just he was a high-ranking nobleman, because you know that the nobility in Waterdeep is elected, and then there is one person that is known. Well, they're not really, they're like chosen at random from all of the nobility, and then one is the known council member. Currently is Lady Silverhand. You've seen this person before. Let's see. God, I'm trying to think of. He had introduced himself as Kareth Ersalor. That was the name he went by, but this was 800 years ago.
It's
So
a little bit of time.
But you do actually recognize his humanoid form, because this is the form he likes.
He's so old.
So have I just seen him, or have we personally met?
You have not personally met him. He was the leadership of the city, and you didn't have, well, I guess no, Waterdeep. You wouldn't have had reason to work with him before.
Gotcha.
That would complicate things a little bit, but you've known about him in the past and worked with allies of his in the past.
Okay.
Was he able to tell? Because he said, like, organically changing the destination, basically. Could he tell where it was potentially going to get redirected if it wasn't going to be Celestia or whatever?
He looks over at probably Arturia. Or no, he'd look at Ken. You said that it was like a multicolored light, correct?
Yep, rainbow, 7 colors.
My assumption would then be Mechanus, as the engine of magic itself. Kind of looks past Ken, past Eleuthera, and at Mia. Judging by her qualities, the divine nature in her blood probably connected them. But
I didn't bleed on it.
he kind of like, he starts to reply, and then like you see him just like purse his lips, and he does like the most subtle like shake of the head, like nope, not touching it.
If I have a slight follow up, if we hadn't contained it, if we didn't expend the energy in the artifacts to stop it, and it spread, can there be 2 gates to the same place here? Or would the one that pre-existed cease?
Sits, and it is a good insight. I am not sure. My instinct tells me that if one were to be created in a new place, the previous would dissipate. However, there is the nature of the Feywild, which has been known to have multiple points of entrance and egress all throughout the realms. So, as far as the gate that was being built, I'm not sure if both would have stayed in existence or would have made the previous disappear. But I fear for what would have happened to the gate to Celestia and the path to our afterlife, were it to overwhelm this gate. And he kind of looks over, and then Arturia goes, it was stable, or at least it appeared to be. It manifested, and then didn't continue to grow. We watched it for a few moments, and it seemed constant. Just nods. And like,
Do you
good.
sorry? Do you know where a gate to the Mechanicus would be? Or
It was
general idea?
believed centuries ago, and he kind of like looks at you, to be located near Waterdeep, but none have ever witnessed it. The goddess of magic is not one to rely upon mortals frequently, or is more often than not the kind of creature to take matters into their own hands when they can.
That sounds familiar.
It is the way of great power to wield, I suppose. But these questions aside, the notion of the Fey realm does bring me to my question as to what do we do with about Tazmikella. We have attempted to reach her as well as your ally. Arturia nods. I tried again last night, and it's still The sendings aren't getting through, which that doesn't make any sense.
That seems
I
to be the
mean-
problem.
When Arturia kind of looks to Ken and with a like, do you want me to explain or do you want to?
Long story short, we have reason to believe a friend of mine and my sister, Tasma Kella, has got transported into the Feywilds. We've tried to contact her using sending, but something is causing interference and rebound on anyone who tries to contact them. The only way I even knew that they were in the Feywild initially is Rose using the dream spell to contact me. So I think the only way we can really do anything is using a dream spell to contact them.
Nicholas, can you
But-
roll me an Arcana check? Go ahead,
I'm not
Scott.
sure if dream spells can connect. Well, with Rose using dream.
Oh my god. I'm gonna add a +10 to that.
Okay. Okay.
I
Isn't
mean,
that-
it might be possible for using a dream spell across planes, since Rose has done it twice now, or 3 times.
3 times. As he's saying that, it all sounds wrong because sending 95% of the time works across planes, whereas dream doesn't. It's locked. You have to be on the same plane of existence that the creature you're targeting is on.
Mm.
Arturian nods as you kind of like fill in that information. So it is very strange, and I can account personally for the fact that whatever is happening is painful. It causes psychic damage when you kind of bounce against it. Pretend they're like sits forward. Then what do we do? Do we go there? How do we get there? How do we help them? We need Tasmakella here. The 3 of us can only hold the tides at bay for so long. We can't make progress without at least her with us.
Wait, is there like a non-detection spell that someone could cast that does damage rather than just preventing scrying? Or like connection or anything like that?
Not one that you know of. Not one that exists within classical magic.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but you do know that the foe you're facing has stronger than normal magics. You've run into things that kind of break the normal rules, and Nicholas doesn't really know much about Rose as far as what they're capable of.
Yeah, because I think I've only just seen everyone in scrying like once or twice.
Pretty much.
Could I attempt ascending?
Sure.
I don't even know what to say. Hello, this is just a check making sure sending works.
Wellness check.
Your friends are worried.
You cast
I'm
your spell.
Trying to think if I could find a way like around it.
Roll me an Arcana check again. As someone who has cast Sending as many times in their life as some of us go to the bathroom. Okay. Given the 28 from the +10 of 4 and a 26, as you send out the spell, you do take 10 points of psychic damage. Yeah,
So
I know.
much damage.
I know, right? It wasn't even a high roll. As you feel this like pain, your mind starts to instantly analyze it. This need to understand what's going on. You start to pick it apart. The pain is coming from your own voice. You're hearing your own message repeated over and over and over and over and over, laid over itself about 20 times. and it all just sort of like builds on itself, like you know how reverb builds,
Mhm.
until finally it cracks and deals the psychic damage, and the spell ends.
Could I send a message to a Modron and have a Modron try and contact Rose? Like do a loop-de-loop, like telephone. Try and telephone around whatever like barrier is preventing.
Absolutely. You would definitely be able to. Do you want to use sending, or do you have another spell to use for that?
There is another one. I don't know if I want to use a contact other plane. There is a easier one. I gotta
You-
Hey
remember which
Gary,
one it is.
it's Nick. Can you call a friend for us real quick?
I mean, I could probably, because I forgot the name of the one Modron that keeps popping in randomly on accident.
Yeah, there's been like two that have been summoned by Mia so far. One of them got sent back violently. The other one got sent back normally.
Yeah, the one I was familiar with, could I like talk to him and be like, hey, can you either try and contact this person or investigate what's causing it and get back to me?
Sure. Roll me a d20, because going between the planes, this one does have a chance of failing. Doesn't just fail. Okay, that was close.
Didn't roll
But-
one.
Right?
Uh,
Let's see.
Ken's stewing over Potenter's question about figuring out how we're gonna get Tazmikella back. I really don't want to take any more detours. God, Bahamut, Dad knows what the cult's up to now.
Dad, damn it.
Dad, damn it.
But I agree with Panther. Having Tazmikella here would definitely help a ton. And having Rose here would help a ton. I say we try to at least get a good foothold into the Dale Lands first to be able to teleport back there. And then, if everyone agrees, figure out a way to get to the Feywild to go get Tazmikella and Rose back. Because any means of communication is kind of kaput right now.
It all comes through in a very like Nicholas. It's all very like atonal.
Mechanical.
Mhm.
Mechanics.
But they don't even have to try. They already kind of know what's up. They're just busy.
I see. Well, I should have just contacted them first. Well, it seems there is some kind of temporal disturbance currently around the Feywilds. Current efforts are focused on other issues, so they haven't fixed it. So that would explain the sending issue.
Right. So the temporal dragon that the simulacrum Severin transformed into is probably, an actual one they have some sort of connection to. Awesome. Love to hear it.
Would the temporal disturbance prevent us from going to the Feywild as well, or just prevent communication?
Roll me an intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence?
Yeah.
We don't happen to know anybody from the Feywild?
You do actually.
We knew Thorn.
Oh, Aerith doesn't. Everyone else does. You're not sure. Honestly, you know that you would need something from the Feywild to work as a focus for plane shift, and it's nothing. I don't think you would have anything for the Feywild.
Not
Nope.
on me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
So we need to find something from the Feywild and hope plane shift doesn't destroy us. Very fun.
That sounds fun.
Or we can just find the door. One of the many doors, I guess.
How?
Yeah, they tend to move around. They're wily, you know, Feywild and all.
Well, here's the thing: if the fact that we're aware that there's a temporal issue going on, it's almost assuredly something to do with the cult, right? Like, we can almost bet they're fucking with something, which means they probably have a door that they can access that we could probably find.
I mean, it's not
So.
comforting, but it is a good thought.
Is there a compass that just leads straight to the door?
If only. This would make it so much easier.
We're Kingdom Hearts now, baby. Let's find the door.
Right? Do you know the what's the spell? The pathing spell. I can't remember what it's called. Find the path.
I think that's cleric only. Find the path. I think it's sorcerer can learn it, can't they?
Bard, cleric, druid. Nope.
Nope. If only we had a bard or a cleric.
Most direct. Familiar with. It has to be a place you're familiar with.
No, that's true.
Yeah. I knew there was a catch for find the path. I know it's strong, but
Right.
like because you can scry on the location and then find the path to it if you can make those things work.
Yeah. I guess a destination that moves also it just automatically fails it, so that kind of out the window already.
We need to find something from the Feywild to be able to make sure we establish it and get there ourselves, or potentially find Thorn.
Would I have any Feywild items in my vault?
Roll me a d20. Let me ask the dice. I'm gonna say 17 plus is a yes. Unfortunately, a Feywild key was never something you procured.
Does it have to be like an item? Can it be a thing? Like a like a creature? Because Aerith summons Feywild creatures as familiar all the time, right?
For plane shift, it has to be.
The spell's restrictions are a little stronger than what I have in place.
Yeah.
So for me, it has to be a metallic object that originated from the destination. So going to the Feywild. That was why, like, when you guys were originally, when you came back and you detoured to Waterdeep to go talk to Thorn, he got banished to the Feywild, picked up a piece of iron ore and brought it back because that was what you guys were planning on using as your Fey key to get into the Feywild. He was going to go and have something made out of it, and he might have done just that.
So Thorn is our best bet then.
So Dale lands,
Unless
then
he's already
Thorn,
had
or
it made
Thorn,
and
then
pieced out
Dale?
on us.
You could ask him, I guess.
Yeah. He's probably looking for Rose too. Up to you guys.
And it's one of you magic guys, because I can't send.
I don't know Thorn.
I don't know Thorn.
You know Thorn.
I think
Don't you?
Aerith knows Thorn.
No.
I know Nicholas doesn't. You met
Eric
Thorn.
never met him.
Where were you then?
Because it was after Hibisia. Hibisia wasn't around for that long. You weren't there, I don't think, during the... No, because you were there during the arc into... No, that was Hibisia to go into the Astral Sea, right?
Yes.
Okay. But afterwards, after you got
Thorn
Rose
disappeared
into him...
during when Ken turned into Ascalon.
No, that was Jaeger.
No, Thorn also disappeared in the commotion. When Ascalon took over.
First time, right? Yes,
The
he
first
did.
time.
He did. He ran away because he's a survivor. Then he did get in touch with you guys again. He was at that. Let me find my notes. Hold on. It was at that tavern in Waterdeep. He reached out to Rose.
Does Hibisia have sending? Just send Hibisia and be like, get a hold of Thorn for us and ask a question. You know?
Hibisia is a druid. Druids don't get sending. I think.
All right. So.
What did
during-
Hibisia even
Wait,
do, man? Why
Hibisia's
was
from the
he even
Feywild.
here?
Hibisia's from the Feywild, right?
Only Ken
That
would
means
know
they
that.
probably have a metal item on them. Like, how would they get back then if they didn't have? Or at the very least, Hibisia should know the door, right? Where the door is.
But I think it was only Ken
mean,
out of our current group that actually has been with Hibisia.
Yes, Hibisia. Yes, I agree to that. I did find, so it was after the modify memory. It was after, let's see. The party returned to the swirling portal and seemed whole and hale. It's after you guys talked to Robert. Having finally wrapped things up with Robert, at least for the time being, the party began to discuss the next steps. Rose still had the party under the modify memory spell, which prevented them from knowing the truth about Ken's current condition. During their discussions, Rose learned that Thorn had been looking for them. He came across Hibisia to the south and asked him if he's seen Rose. Rose used one of their last sendings to reach out to Thorn, learning that he was in Waterdeep at the moment, and apparently his dad is still alive. The party had decided to head to Waterdeep to see what this is about. Teleportation circle opened, and the party rode through into the Waterdeep Guildhall on horseback. And then you guys went and talked to Thorn, and then he got banished and came back with a rock, and then he was like, I'm gonna go find somebody to make a sword out of this, and you guys were like, cool, we'll get in touch with you. And then, let's see. Then you guys had to go and put Ken's soul back together.
Because that was kind of important.
Yeah, so it kind of got, like, sandwiched in there, but Aerith has met Thorn.
Okay.
If you wanted to send him.
It also means Artoria should have met him, right? If we had to go put Ken's soul back together, she could send him for us.
True. It's up to you. I don't mind. I know you're far busier than I am.
Well, you've actually met him longer than I have.
Very well. She kind of like closes her eyes, and in that like familiar way, her eyelids just sort of like track left and right, and then her head jerks back. And there's a tiny trickle of blood as she goes, ah.
Right, hold on.
Well, I'm assuming he's with Rose because ow, that hurt.
I'm so sorry.
Again.
All right.
It's fine. Especially me, I can just rest this off here. But yes, it appears he's in the same place.
Fuck.
All right. Yeah.
Any other options, ideas?
Do you think maybe he would have had the foresight to leave the sword for us after he went?
Does Thorn strike you as the kind of guy to leave a
He doesn't, but I was trying to be hopeful.
You don't even know how dope ass his sword is.
Any other spells that could help us?
One, potentially, but it is not one that we can simply cast as easy as the gate. He looks over at Arturia. An astral projection. And she looks at him, and her eyes kind of go wide. You want to take their souls from their bodies and yeet them through the multiverse, hoping that we can hit the Feywild when it's... He kind of like holds her gaze. Sorry. It seems dangerous. Looks at the rest of you. It's the only other option that I have. We don't have some focused cues to get there.
Wait a minute.
If you die, why ask
Out of character. Go ahead, Kyle.
I was gonna say astral projection. If the tether between your body and the astral projection gets cut, you're just instantly dead.
That's why it's dangerous.
Seems fine.
Out of character because Oni hasn't met him. Let's just go get the fucking wishing sword, guys. Why do we keep not getting that goddamn wishing sword? That seems very important. I feel like hey, with us grabbing a wish to go get his sister, bring him back here, you know?
Yeah, but it's Nemurs, and I'm not sure if he'd be willing to part with it so quickly. But, like you said, this is, an important situation, so maybe?
What if you convince him that you'll bring him something even better back than a wishing sword from the Feywild? You know?
That's pretty hard to do. We'll get you a better wishing sword.
It's the Feywild, bro. There could be anything there.
It could even be a wishing sword.
Yeah, exactly.
How common
we might find a sword with 2 charges of wish in it left instead of 1.
I was gonna
Would
say,
you
how
even be
common?
able to pick anything up when you're in astral form?
Well, that's why we
No.
wouldn't
Or is that
do
just a
astral
ghost?
form. We would just wish to go there and just wrap this shit up quick ourselves.
Fair.
To answer your question, yes, you can. You can interact with things, and you can even return to the material plane with those objects. It's astral projection is the natural way to explore the multiverse and get the keys to the other realms, since you kind of need to have something from there to get there. This is the
Right.
spell that you use to do it. But
Right.
it's risky as well.
do we feel safe in trusting that when we can't even shoot out sendings without getting hit with psychic reverb?
That is my
Yeah.
concern.
Yeah, I'm not risking it.
It is also worth noting that powerful magic oft comes at a cost, and that wish, while exceptionally powerful, it doesn't always give you what you want, or it can sometimes be the only wish you get. And she kind of just like smiles at Ken.
Could we
So-
buy a Feywild item like metal from a magic vendor? I'm assuming that'd be expensive, but
It is possible. Such objects show up in the world with more frequency than other planar objects, seeing as the closeness of the Feywild.
do you want to try that first?
Try to find a needle in a haystack shopping. Or pretty much draw
Stick
out
your
a
soul.
contract. Yeah, either needle in the haystack shopping, pulling a Shadowbringers and finding items to transport us to the Feywild, or asking Namor to, can we please use his wish sword?
And possibly have that also backfire.
Yeah, we just gotta draw out like a clear-cut wish contract statement.
Yeah.
These are all
Alright.
terrible options.
Right?
Yeah.
Seems great.
All right. So, here's what I'm thinking. We try shopping first. Astral projection is dead last. That's the absolute last resort. Barring the shopping, we can attempt to ask Namur to use his sword.
Panther kind of like leans forward. Tasmakalla's situation does concern me deeply, and these revelations on the Feywild. Very well. You make your preparations. I need to return to the front anyway. When I arrive, I will implore Namur to reveal the location of his hoard so that we may procure the Luck Sword for this use.
I mean, do any as dragons and like collective hordes, do any of you have any items that might be from other planes?
Sorry, I'm just thinking of what their hordes are. Give me a second. Roll some dice.
And maybe Eleuthera has a little pin. It's like, I went to the Feywild and all I got was a stupid pin, but it's like Comic Sans. Fucking.
Okay, you're gonna laugh because Eleuthera's the only one whose roll was actually high enough to have one. I rolled 3 D100s and they needed a 99 or 100 to have it, and Eleuthera rolled a 99. So as you kind of ask, Eleuthera, like, I mean, I'm not sure it's real. Don't be mad at me if it's a fake, but it seemed pretty legit when the dude gave it to me. It is back in my hoard. I'd have to, like, oh god, where? I'd have to. It would take me a couple days to get back here. But I think I got something. I don't have the cool little wrist pocket thing that Namur does. He won't teach that to me. He's kind of a jerk. But maybe if you want me to go and grab it.
Would
I mean,
you
it's
be
definitely
able
something.
would you be able to like bring it to us as we continue to go on? So that we don't have to wait?
You guys are going into the Dales, right? Yeah. Kind of like stops and thinks. Okay. I could get to my hoard. Sorry, I'm trying to think of how he could get it to you, but it's all gonna take time because he has to actually like fly to it.
Can you teleport in and out of the Dale Lands? Like, if we get in and get a foothold in there and get something so that later on we could teleport back, are you able to do that? Or, like, do you have to go by foot through some of these entrances to be able to get there?
Us, we cannot enter them easily in either way. Teleportation magics are questionable at best. It has been known to work in the past, but the Dale Lands are kind of like we've discussed much this afternoon on the nature of the heavens and the gods, the effect of the divine, and the influence of energies across the world. Each of the Dales represents a domain, a space where their respective elemental planes are bleeding to our world, similar to the door. The elemental planes are primal, though. They are not constituted of mortal cognition, thought, and belief as our heavens and the gods. So, they are not beholden to the same restrictions as the doorways are. We believe that the Titans themselves are akin to those doors, and it is the nature of them to control their domain surrounding it. Similar to the
Oh.
lair effects of a dragon.
This is awful. This is all just bad news. Could not have gotten any worse than you telling us what you just told us. Every one of the Titans has already fallen under the control of the cult. So that means it's going to be even harder than it would have already been to do anything convenient.
I would expect, especially for you, Ken, you will feel it most prominently within your draconic blood. We are creatures of magic and the world. Your friends, your allies, kind of like looks over at Mortal, or at Mia, sorry, I had the word mortal in my head. At Mia for a second.
Myrtle.
Mortal, for the most part, and the effects will be lesser. You carrying dragon, you will feel it. It will feel as an oppressive weight over your very soul. But it can be persevered through. Just don't let it crush you.
Well, I'll try my best.
But yes, the control of their respective lands falling onto these titans that have now fallen to our foe has been kind of like, you deserve to, he sits up for a second, you deserve to know what we have been fighting against. When you set out on your mission several months ago, we informed you of the moving of the Thayan armies. First, they seemed to be moving towards the mountain to come and threaten us once more. And they did, keeping us contained here and drawing all of our forces back to protect it. And then, several weeks ago, they retreated. We were unsure what this meant, and so I left young Artoria and Eleuthera here and took the two members I had available on a fact-finding journey. The Thayan are not entering into the Dales, but have created a protective... what is it called? Siege line? We cannot get close to them without being harried by all manner of undead and sorcerer's abomination. We have been trying to find route and path around, but everywhere we go they are waiting for us, and we cannot find ways into the Dale of Air. So... we do not know how to...
We found the route. Potentially.
kind of like... in... from where?
We had to go through the Underdark.
I'm assuming you mean on the western side of the Dales, through the spine of the world.
Yep, sir. That's the route.
Kind of like nods. Steps off of his throne, kind of like waves his hand through the air, and this image, this minor image, comes up of a like circular kind of territory, and it actually has like these four like bubbles in it. This is the current arrangement of the Dales, and they look almost like perfectly square of each other. Ooh, hold on, I didn't actually have the pen out. Like, this, they're all touching just barely at the edges. He kind of like flicks his finger, and like earth, fire, yeah, water. This is the current arrangement of the Titans. As you know, they are constantly shifting, although around the same time the Thayans' attack withdrew, it seems all the Titans have now ceased. They are stagnant, and their energies are kind of building. If you cross the mountains, most likely emerging here, outside of the Dale of Earth, it would be possible for us to join you and attempt to cross the northern reach, but I fear spending prolonged time in the Dales myself, especially with the Titans currently swayed. It is the dilemma of our nature that has stymied me, is how to help you without falling myself.
Don't risk yourself. I mean, we'll try to figure things out on our end. You got things going on here. We'll try to take care of things on our end.
Smiles and goes, "Do not think that we are not working towards the same gains, the same ends. I simply fear leaving a foe here." He kind of like motions down to this side. And stacking all of our strength on one side. It's not a bad idea. We certainly would be more potent, but
Out of character, what's Robert doing? Because I'm sure he would love to get a piece of Thay.
yeah, he probably would. I don't know. I honestly haven't rolled for him in a while, so I kind of know what's coming in that area of the world.
Oh, we
Sure.
should probably contact him to let him know we got a potential foothold into the Dales coming up. Because we did kind of
Yeah,
promise.
but they need us to find that like pseudo door over there to let them come through. Remember?
Yeah, that is correct.
I mean, we could definitely let them know. That would be a perfect opportunity to let them know that we found a path in, and maybe sick Robert and his boys on, say, to give them an ass like a pain in the ass while we do things. But
Turning devils on undead does seem appropriate. Kind of like sighs and leans forward. Either way, I can ask Namar for the luck blade if you would like. Eleuthera, who has been like kind of like chewing on their lips. I don't know how to get. It's literally, it's just like a little keychain thing. It's so like, I don't even know if it's. They said it was real Fey iron, but those Fey. I just don't know how to get it to you.
Hmm.
I really have been thinking about it. Like, I really want, like, the fact that he rolled a 99, or they rolled a 99, I really want them to be able to help. But the earliest, the best thing I could do would be like, I could go and get it and have it ready for you, and then if you find yourselves in a position to, be able to teleport, or for us to be able to reach you guys, then I could get it to you.
We
without
could have a
trying to
picnic
pry,
point.
where is your horde?
Am?
do, do we know?
Nicholas and Oni can both roll me. Actually, everybody just roll me history checks. And except Mia. Mia won't know.
I have no fucking clue.
Okay. Ken
History.
and Nicholas, you have both actually heard of, have heard of this. Nicholas, you've never been there. It's the country to the south of Faerun. It's beyond the southern borders, the mountain range. Ken, you specifically know it as the country that your guildmaster is from. That's where
Oh.
Adrian is from,
Neat.
and Jaeger. But it's there's a like a wide, not tall, not like this where it's like a ridge type mountain range, but these like beautiful rolling hills with these sharp peaks that just kind of that's where it is. And I hope to be able to.
If you were to explain it to me real well, I could try to take us there. But then I only have one 7th level spell to get us there, but not back. So I don't know if that helps.
Does he know the teleport spell?
That's a good question. He does not. No.
Damn.
Yeah. I had them all. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to try, I guess I could describe it. It's not like, I mean, there's.
It's
Oh my
just,
goodness.
that's the only thing I really have to help for this situation, but I also don't know if I mean, so we know what we're supposed to do and where we're supposed to go, but that's not any of this stuff.
Do you happen to have like children or any allies there standing guard that you can name, and then Nick can do his whole scrying thing and then teleport us because he's seen it by chance? Or is it just a vault somewhere?
I do have my son watching over it right now.
You have a son?
I mean, yeah, we can do that. Let's see. For scrying, let's see. Do you need to know?
Luther just pulls his wallet out, unfolds, and it's like Maze from Full Metal Alchemist. He's just got 40 pictures of his son.
Let's see. All right.
In character, none of this stuff is surprising, but out of character, it's always so crazy when we hear, or at least to me, when I hear an NPC has a kid, because I never imagined them having children.
You're right.
All right. His name is Emus, because that was the best one that came up on the first run through of the dragon names. He kind of. Let's see. Knowledge, second hand, knowledge on target. And so they make a save. Heard of the target, okay. Physical connection.
Don't worry, Emus, it's just Uncle Nicholas coming to check in on you.
He doesn't. They don't have like a wallet with pictures, unfortunately. But they try to describe them to you, and as best they can, at least. So let me just, oh god, all the things I don't plan for, guys. Oh no.
Luther's son Emus to be one of the NPCs we interact with.
It's fine.
That classic, like, crucial Tyranny character, Emus.
Emus.
Yeah.
Oh boy. What is their normal? Okay, alright. Are you using the scrying orb, or are you casting it yourself?
Might as well use the scrying orb.
I just know that it has a lower DC, right?
Yes. But it's infinite, so I can keep doing it till it works.
He just one day Emus will get tired of this and just let it happen.
Exactly.
Like, finally answer spam call. Like, what? What do you want? Leave me alone.
I'm a friend of your parent. We need to come through, okay?
I've been trying to
Can you
reach
unlock
you
the
about your
front door?
car's extended
Extended
warranty.
warranty.
Okay. And then +5 because it's secondhand knowledge. Okay. Unfortunately, as you focus in on him and you begin the scrying ritual, you look into the orb. It begins to cloud with like smoky fog, and then as it begins to clear, just the vague notion of a landscape in the image before it just and fades away. You attempt to cast it again, and unfortunately, once you've saved against it, you have to wait 24 hours to try again. Yeah. So it doesn't work.
Gotcha. Could I
It's a
use
good
a
try.
spell slot? Would a spell slot still have the same effect, or means as a spell slot I could still use that and have an attempt?
I'll let you use a spell slot for it because it's a different spell save DC.
Okay.
So do another. I need to actually do KH1. That one's a natural 19, unfortunately, for a 26.
Bruh.
Give him a 1. What were your portents?
I was just about to
Yeah,
ask. What
I was
were
gonna
your
say, yeah, I
portents
could portent him to. You said he has a +6.
today?
So
Well, he has a +5 automatically because all you're using is a description of him. So he gets that from the spell. You don't know what his save
okay,
modifier
yeah. So
is.
I'd have to use an at one. Because otherwise, he'd probably save on the 17 and 15s.
Up to you.
Halfway across the world, tell him no. Stop that.
You can. There's nothing in the rules.
Yeah,
that says
might as well port it to make it succeed.
you port it in the natural one, and you look into the scrying orb before you, and as you do, it starts to clear once again. And it clears into a wide rolling hillscape, and in the distance, these singular peaks that stretch up maybe 300 or 400 feet, not super tall, just big enough that they look almost like chocolate chips amidst a rolling green like bundle of blankets almost. And you can see wind blowing through the grass, and as you zoom further in, you end up deep within a cave, and there is a bronze dragon in his full glory, looking up with one eyebrow cocked and his head kind of going like back and forth, like left to right, like, what is going on? There's something strange happening.
All right, so that's the location. So the plan is to teleport there and then teleport back, correct?
We can try.
You guys,
We don't even have to. I mean, like, we don't even have to take everybody. We could just me and you, Nicholas, and Eleuthera, and then just grab it and come back.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we end up in the right location. Wait, they'd have to allow
Well, I
me.
mean,
Wait, how would I teleport back? Because they have to teleport us back, correct? Because we can't teleport here directly.
we can teleport here, I think. We just didn't know it before.
You don't have a teleportation circle here.
But we
You
could take something.
teleport, yeah.
No, I thought this place was protected, which is why we couldn't teleport here.
Was it? I know I've had a few places.
I think it wasn't protected because I think I remember Arturia using a stone tablet that Ken took just in case to teleport back.
Yes. That sounds...
So we might be able to get. Well, yeah, I might be able to get back.
Might. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. But okay, yeah, if that's the plan, I'm fine with it.
I mean, yeah, sure, okay, oh, whew. All right, gonna see Emus again. Okay,
You've been paying your child support?
he's 500 years old. He can take care of himself now.
Rude, dude. Rude.
Okay. All right. I guess wait right here for us, and then the two spellcasters. Who's doing the teleport there? I guess it's Nicholas, since you've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And I
Teleport.
guess we take something from here to come back, I guess.
Okay. There are loose stones that you could pick up, like a loose rock from the ground.
I got this rock.
Okay. All right. Nicholas, roll me a D100.
Yay! Why is there two?
Nice.
All right. All right. All right.
Ideal.
Well, it's a
Only-
100, so that's 100, right?
No. I think it's if you roll a 1 on the other one and then a 0 0 on the.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
No, you rolled
zero,
a 10.
0, 0, 0 is 100. Because there is no 0, you can't roll a 0, so 0, 0, 0 is 100, but a...
Thought it was 50-50. I was just making a joke that, hey, 100.
Oh boy, hold on. I know you take damage as you guys... Okay. Roll
It's
me another
fine.
D100.
We're just off of a.
Oh,
You can take a couple of
if
damage.
this is how I die, I will be so annoyed.
Okay.
It'd be hilarious, though.
That's
Holy
better.
shit. Alright, you all
Okay,
take all
much
take-
better.
21 points of force damage.
Oh.
I know, right?
Nick appears bloody on the ground, coughing like. "Ah."
I mean, I do get a shield because I just cast a spell.
True,
So
true.
that tanks a good chunk of it.
As you take out your book and focus in on the location you saw in your scrying, you cast it out, and the rest of you see as the three of them disappear. The three of you feel as the world attempts to manifest itself around you, in you, through you, or you through it. You're in the same space as the world. It fucking hurts! And then suddenly you're not. And then another pop. And then a very, very loud. And yeah. They're friends. Don't worry about it. And then
Ow.
a very large bronze dragon stands up. Not as big as a Luthra was, but stands up and looks down. You hear a bellowing voice. Dad, what are you doing here? Who are these outsiders? Luthra looks up. That's rude. Don't. Hey, just. That's rude.
Oh, down,
Can
young
you come?
whippersnapper.
Can you come down here so we can talk? You're real big.
Kind of like shakes himself a little bit. You see like the muscles start to twitch, and it's not as smooth as Eleuthera's was. There's some visceral sounds as the wings kind of like pop in. He takes on this humanoid form, taller than his dad. Looks more masculine, kind of like a sharper, more Roman type nose. Just kind of like short, cropped, bronzish colored hair with a little bit of a like scruffle goatee, or not goatee, but like a beard, like short trimmed beard. Looks down at all of you because you're all shorter than him. What do I owe the pleasure, Dad? We just need something for my horde, and then I'm out of your hair. All right? I'm sure it's been great. Just need this, and he kind of like walks by, picks out a small metallic object from the horde, and Emus looks over the two of you. Was it you that I sensed earlier? I knew something was poking at the periphery of my mind.
Just take off my hat and give a deep bow. I'm like, yes, indeed.
He
Just
cocks
grin at him. Just grin at him.
cocks his head to the side and raises an eyebrow. Right. Okay.
And I'm Mia.
Nice to meet you, Mia. All right.
Hello.
Turns around and Eleuthera's still digging through. I know it was. Wait, was it over here? And he scrambles up, and at this point, you've now had a moment to kind of like take in the surroundings. The cave that you're in is maybe like 200 feet wide, and it stretches up to about the edge of where your dark vision goes. You could see like little spikes of stalactites far above that look like they might have like claw marks scratched into them, and a pretty sizable looking horde in front of you, mostly made of like coins and jewels and like goblets, things like finery like that. And it just seems to be piled, like no organization method at all. And as Eleuthera is like scrambling through, he's like throwing stuff, and like some stuff he'll pick up and he'll set down, and he'll like pick up the most like tiny little wooden horse, and he'll set it down nice and carefully, and he'll pick up like a gold goblet and just toss it off to the side and dig through and keep looking. And Emus just stares at the two of you, kind of coldly.
I like your cave. It's pretty cool.
Thanks. It's my dad's cave.
I like your dad's cave. It's pretty cool.
He kind of like forces a smile. I like your hair. It's very colorful.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if I should cut it, because Ken cut his hair, but I decided not to, I guess. Unless you think it would look better.
And just like, I don't. Maybe I like it shorter. It's easier to deal with. You know, you can clean it easier. Dad, how long are you gonna be?
Your friends are weird.
You hear Luther go, ah, here, got it. Okay. Yeah. They slide down like, hit the ground like, roll their eyes at Emus. We're getting out of your hair now, and you can get back to your very important work. All right. He holds up the small. It looks like about 4 links of metal, and then a maybe 2-inch wide ring with a coin set into it. And when they hold it up, you can see that the coin is on like one of those spinning bars. All right, so this is what they gave me. And he hands it to you, Mia, as you take it into your
Pretty.
hand. They said it was made out of genuine fey iron, whatever that means. I just thought it was
Did they
cool.
say it like that?
I think so. I don't know.
Neat.
Okay. But he kind of like flicks the middle as you're holding the chain. You see the coin inside spin, and as you do, it looks like a laughing face, just kind of like opening and closing as it's like going between like smiling and like laughing and tears. So, this might work.
Um,
Only one way to find out.
yeah. Well, I guess I need to teleport back. To where we're going. And I guess I can also do that because it's through my staff.
Okay. All right. Do we want to have you teleport everyone back and then call it since Aurora has to go and we're at 3 hours?
Right. That's what I was wondering.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'd hate to keep going and him miss out on whatever else we scramble to try to decide to do.
Right, and it's like it's face stuff,
Right.
which is so tied to Aerith and a lot of what Aurora likes, is interested in. So it feels bad when he can't really participate. I'm not judging. There
It's
is no
fine.
judgment at all. It's you like what you like, and I think it's awesome that you know what you like, and I just
We
don't
just don't
want
want
you
you
to
to
miss out.
miss out on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
We want you here.
So as Mia takes your staff into your hand and the small stone that you took from the peak of the Nether Mountains, Eluther goes, just give me 1 minute to talk to Emus real quick, just while I'm here, and then just 2 shakes,
She's
okay?
like mid starting to cast it and stops. Just okay.
I'm gonna kind of like walk over, and the shorter, more feminine looking, honestly younger looking Eleuthera reaches up and puts a hand around Emus's shoulder, just goes, walk with me for a second. And they go and they have a little conversation. About
I
5
hope he
minutes
comes
later.
back soon.
It's about 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, they walk back. Luther still has Emus, his arm around him, but Emus is walking a little bit more hunched over and definitely looks like he just got chastised a bit. He walks over and goes, it was really nice to meet you all, and thank you for everything that you're trying to do to protect the world and save it from threats or whatever. Luther goes, all right, good enough.
Did
Take
you
care,
want to come
buddy.
with us?
I have to watch the horde. I have to make sure that I have to make sure that no adventurers stumble upon it and aren't warned of the various defenses here. Luthra kind of nods with his eyes closed. Defenses. Okay, ready? Let's go.
Can I do the spell now?
Yes, please.
Okay. She's just like
I like
she's
to
like
imagine
halfway
me.
through casting it.
Yeah, just stop holding the staff up. Just okay,
Yep.
just whenever you're ready, I guess.
She's just like sweating a little bit with trying to keep it from actually going off. She just
As-
like exhales and then just boosh and teleports. And probably because I'm already at a high number, so yep.
Wild magic.
Oh no, I don't have the table up on my phone anymore because I got a new phone.
Why don't you tell
Yes.
me afterwards? Because it's going to
Yeah.
happen in Eleuthera's horde room where the spell was actually cast. So I'm the only one who's gonna know.
Well,
What
okay.
are the
I guess that's fair. That's
options?
fair.
It's not
20
very. Neither of them
none.
are very fun.
Oh,
But
you turn blue or
teleport 20 feet is bonus action on each of my turns.
okay. So either one actually would have affected you. So they would all know
Right.
too. Yeah.
It's
So
not
which
as
one do you want to
exciting. I'm not gonna pick the blue one.
do? Aww.
I know. I don't want to be blue.
As Mia, Nicholas, and Eleuthera once again appear here within the peak of the Nether Mountains. Mia holds out a small, dangling keychain with a spinning coin in the middle of it, and then kind of jumps 20 feet to the right and 20 feet to the left, and then 20 feet forward and 20 feet back. And that's where we'll call this week's session, so Aerith's family can get some rest, and we can
I was
pick
so
up here
close to
next
being a
game.
potted plant.
That would have been great.
Right.
Oh man.
For the second roll, did I want to roll high like a 99, or did I want to roll low for that?
Higher is better for teleport because the lower you roll, the more chance of like we get damaged or we just end up in a random place.
So
Okay.
you were doing this with viewed once, so yeah,